Welcome. We're going to start looking at our reflected ceiling plan. We need to go to the ceiling plan views, and that was floor 1, and here's floor 2. And I've actually already put in a ceiling, and I got that from the build tab. And I'm going to edit the boundary, and it's going to give me the sketch, the hot pink sketch menu once again. And as you can see on the second floor, when we draw this ceiling, it's actually going to need to extend into this little niche area, and I'm using fillet just to clean that up. And I have a ceiling in there, and here's how we set the level. We're going to go over to the properties tab, and from the second floor it is 9 feet off of that floor. Of course, it's more like 18 feet off of the other floor. And I'm going to leave it as a 2x2 ceiling because we've talked about the acoustics before in this 2-story space. And but I have put it in at a 45-degree angle, which is an option that you can do by rotating the individual lines. We'll show that later. But you can see the ceiling is in there at 45 degrees up on the 2-story space. So now I'm going to take a sectional view. I'm in the main drawing. I have the countertop in there from my LinkedIn file. I've been doing some work on my doors, but here you can see the ceiling, and there is the ductwork, and that's why our ceiling is set at 9 feet, to not see the ductwork. We can have a discussion in class about open ceilings and some factors that go with that, but in this case we're going to put in a ceiling. Now I'm on the first floor ceiling plan, and this time I am going to use a chipboard ceiling. I know it's a noisy area, but for cleanability and some aesthetic reasons, I'm going to put in a chipboard ceiling here. And this is going to be 9 feet off of the floor, which is going to allow us to be able to have some ductwork in this space as well. So I've set that down, and I've going to put in a soffit wall, because if you think about it, it's down at 9 feet, and there would be a soffit or fascia board that would enclose the area. Now I'm kind of just guessing how tall it is, and I put in 3 feet for now. And when I look at my 3D, or I could be doing this actually in another view, but here we see it here. Not kind of difficult to see it with this realistic view, but I've got my ceiling, and then I've got the soffit, and here we can see that better, and I'm touching it, and I'm going to, even in perspective view, I'm able to control how tall it is. So I'm going to set it down to be 18 inches, and so what it's done is given me a way to enclose the space between the ceiling and the floor of the second floor. And later I'm going to dress that up with a panel, but for now at least have that filled in there. I'm going to make another section so I can look at the hallway. And before I had just put in some split face. I don't really like it, and so I worked on changing that. And I did want to talk to you about materials. There are some times where duplicating a material, if it's got everything set up except for one little component, such as what color it is good to duplicate it, because you spend some energy to get the name figured out and some different things. So I just made 2 paints. I'm going to do some whiter paint. I want to be able to paint the face of that soffit. So I'm going to go grab that paint too, and the white paint, and be able to see this soffit a little bit better. So Revit gives you the ability to explore design options and different materials pretty quickly and get your ideas sort of figured out in 3D. So I want you to be able to put in ceilings in all of your spaces. The kitchen will need a ceiling. We'll show that in a later thing, but I'm going to put the restroom ceiling in, and a ceiling. I'm going to begin an interesting ceiling at the hallway as well. So I just put a chipboard ceiling in those 2. I used the automatic ceiling, and now I'm going to do a custom ceiling at the hallway. I'm beginning to put in my first panel here, and this panel I'm going to set up to 10 feet. Now you can see I can use the align tool now. I haven't exactly gotten it drawn in there well. When we're working on laptops, sometimes it's hard to see, but go back and get your lines precise where your ceiling ends exactly with the wall. Otherwise, you're not going to see a good seam there. And we can lock these into place if the area is important to us. Later I'll show you how we're going to be able to see the doors and what's happening below. But this is just a first guess at it. I'm going to raise this ceiling up to 10 feet. And then I'm going to lower another ceiling when over my restroom doors. But we will see that in later videos. So at least have the second floor ceiling, the first floor ceiling, and hopefully your corridor ceilings. And here we can see a little bit more about the ceiling. Thank you.